In example 1, we are going to rewrite quadratic functions to find the vertex of its graph. In order to do that, we're going to need the equation first. So looking at the page before that, our equations that we're going to use are our y equals. So we need y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. That's the one we're dealing with. And we're also going to need the vertex, so let's put that up here on the top so we have it. And the vertex for that is h comma k. Now, if we take a look at letter A here, what we want to do is we want to write this function in this form up here. So to do that, the first thing we want to do is we want to group together our variables, or our x's that are over here on the right. So I'm going to put parentheses around the 3x squared and the negative 12x. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the number that's in front of the x squared because I want just an x within my parentheses. So if I do that, I get 3 times x squared minus 4x, and then my plus 16 is still on the outside. Then what I want to do is I want to add a number inside the parentheses so that I end up with a perfect square trinomial, and then I can do this to it. Now, if I add something in the parentheses, I also have to add something to the outside so that I can balance my equation where I'm only adding 0 to this side. So in order to do that, I have 3 times x squared minus 4x, and I'm going to leave a spot here, and we're going to talk about what number we want to add in here because it's a special number. Then I still have my plus 16 here, but then on the outside I need to add the opposite of whatever I add in here. So these two numbers are going to be opposites of one another, which would then equal 0, meaning I haven't changed my equation. To figure out what number is going to be added in here, I'm going to take this middle term, the b term, I'm going to divide it by 2, and I'm going to square it. And that's the number that's going to go in there. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Squaring that gives me 4. Now I also have to remember that this 4 is being multiplied by this 3 if I go through and distribute. So I've actually not added just 4, but I've actually added 12 so far to this side. So what I need to do here is add the opposite of 12, which is negative 12. Doing that, I get my equation, that g of x equals 3. Now what I'm doing is completing the square. So I'm taking this perfect square trinomial and I'm going to complete my square so it looks like this. To get that answer, I'm going to take the square root of the first one. So the square root of x squared is x. I'm going to take the sign that's here, which is a minus. And then I'm going to take the square root of the number that I added in. So the square root of 4 is 2. So I have x minus 2, and that whole quantity is being squared. Then I can add together my constants, 16 minus 12, which would give me a positive 4. That's my answer in terms of my function, my parabola in standard form. Now if I take a look at my vertex is h comma k. Well, if you look at the original formula, notice that I have a negative h inside and h is positive here. My k is positive here and my k is positive here. So the only thing that you have to be concerned of is that your h is going to take on a different sign when you write your vertex. The k will stay the same. So for this one, my vertex will be the point 2, 4. Now what I would like you to do is take a second and do the try this that's below. So look at this problem right here and see if you can go ahead and put this in standard form and find its vertex. After you've done so, go ahead and hit the pause button. If you did the try this correctly, you should get an answer that k of x is equal to 2 times x plus 1 to the second minus 5. And your vertex is the point -1, -5.